bring in Sifuna on this. You're responsible.
Now,
we staring at constitutional reforms?
First, Khalwale doesn't even know the distinction between social media and the Internet of Things. But as I've said here previously, I've exhausted my civic education budget. I am no longer going to teach the ignorant anything. But allow me to comment on something. First, they say that one of the greatest compliment is to be despised by the wicked. I feel very complimented when people in Kenya Kwanza just hate my guts. My entire existence is just grotesque to them because these are wicked and evil people. So when Khalwale expresses disappointment in me, I feel a certain warmth. My brother Franklin, if you hear Khalwale complimenting you, you are on the wrong path. Be very careful about the compliment. I am telling you. So when he's trying to lecture me about respecting elders and respecting the professionals, I am telling you, your conduct is what will determine how people perceive you. It is not the schools you went to, which codes you've presented before. That is not what determines how people respect you. Respect is earned. There is nobody who just sits there expecting to be respected. No, it doesn't work like that. You earn respect. And I'm telling you some of the pronouncements that are coming out of the mouths of certain people. I like you on one thing only this morning, that you have acknowledged, separate from other people in Kenya Kwanza, that in fact it is the police visiting violence on the innocents, who you called collateral. Only point of departure, Khalwale, is that none of these people needed to die. None of them needed to suffer the pain that they are suffering right now, but for that police action. On the question of legislation, Khalwale, you will struggle to teach me English. You have said you did better than me in Musingu, but you have refused to produce the results. So that I see, yes, you got an A, maybe you got a triple A, I don't know which, did you do Kase or whatever it is you did in your old days. But I am saying there is two distinctions, and I want to give you an example of two articles. When there's something called a Bill of Rights. I wish you had your copy there so that we go together. The Bill of Rights is separate from the rest of the Constitution. These are rights.
Which article?
These are rights. So Article 37, if you look at this Article 37,
yes,
after the right is pronounced, there is no requirement whatsoever for additional legislation. And it is deliberate. Any article of the Constitution that requires additional legislation is expressly stated in the Constitution. Let me give him the example that I wanted to give him. Article 104 on the right of recall of members of parliament, such as yourself, who I believe should be recalled by the people of Kakamega. It says under Article 104(2), Parliament shall enact legislation to provide for the grounds on which a member of parliament may be recalled. It expressly says so, where the Constitution feels, and the framers of the Constitution felt, that there needed to be further legislation to clarify matters on the operation of that particular article of the Constitution. You will not find that under Article 37 because this is written in plain English. I can assure you, anybody who knows to read can understand what this article is saying. People like Kindiki, they know what this article means. I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm saying he has forgotten his oath. I'm not saying he's not knowledgeable. He knows. He's breaking the law. He's violating the Constitution in full knowledge that he's doing so. So this is plain English. Plain English. You don't need to be told, bring further legislation to define what peaceably means. What do you mean you don't understand what peaceably means? And you cannot tell somebody that you can only protest while quiet. That is you are fettering on the same right. The bill that has been brought forward by the Kenya Kwanza before the National Assembly on this Article 37, it is meant to fetter, to reduce the freedom. And I can assure you, even if you pass it because your voting robots in the House are going to do that, it will fall on the sword of justice in court. So we are not worried about that. Trevor, we want people to respect life first. I have seen people mourning flower pots here in Nairobi. I have seen people mourning bitumen at the OCG, some roads were damaged. I have seen a whole PS of interior, somebody whose own community is under attack, mourning, we damaged 2 bridges. I am not going to mourn flower pots before I mourn the people. The right to life is supreme. It's succinct. It is on top of all the other rights. So before you talk to me about respecting elders, can you start by respecting life? respect life, respect this constitution. There will be no problem. I don't mean to teach professors law. No, I have a lot of respect for them. But it shocks us to the core when we see people who we expect to have knowledge demonstrate ignorance. They have decided, and you see, it is even a greater crime when you actually understand that you are breaking a law. You know that it is wrong, but you're doing it, and then you take to public platforms and chest stamp and say yes. And as I've told you, in this life or the next, I assure you, Trevor, we will see a headline of ex-CS Kindiki crying about police raiding his house. It will happen because that is the seed that he has sown. And because he's a believer in the Bible, he knows you must reap what you sow. You do unto others as you expect to be done to you. It is only a matter of time. So let us have a conversation. If we are going to have a sober conversation, let us agree first of all that what is right, what is wrong. I commend the Catholic bishops for calling a spade a spade. I commend the Law Society of Kenya for calling a spade a spade. I commend the Commonwealth Lawyers Association. By the way, all of these characters are members of all those organizations. I don't know which profession, which church Kindiki goes to, but I'm a Catholic, I'm a member of the LSK, I'm a member of the Commonwealth Lawyers Association. They are all saying the same thing, and those people, all of them cannot be wrong. All of them cannot be wrong. They are saying you are violating the Constitution. Please respect the Constitution.
Okay.
For as long as there is that respect for the Constitution, then you can ask me to respect Kindiki.
Did your team have any problem with the tweet from the president inviting the Right Honorable Raila Odinga?
Personally, I don't care. I don't have a problem. We have, some of us, great success in what they call DMs. You know what the DMs? I'm sure he doesn't know what the DMs. So social media for me is not a problem. You can invite anyone to anything through any means for as long as you reach them. But the question is, where is the sincerity? Where is the honesty? We have seen and we have demonstrated here that even in the bipartisan talks, there was no sincerity. There was a manifest lack of good faith. And it has been demonstrated that, in fact, those were the instructions of Ruto, because even him, after inviting a fellow head of state into the country, did the same thing that Khalwale was doing to us at the bipartisan.
Speaking of bipartisan talks, I think we have a soundbite from Honorable Murugara on that same conversation. Let's hear what he had to say.